back, everybody. We are back on the Toro Z Master. This is the one that had the bad coil and running off of one cylinder. This was the old coil. I did get a 2-pack because I recommended to the man that you know, this is an electronic piece, and I've always thought it's been wise. And I mean, I've gotten away with, or tried to get away before with, replacing one electronic, and then, you know, a month later the other one goes bad. So now I always recommend, when it comes to coils and things like that, to replace both. And so I did get both, 2-pack of them, so 30 some bucks. And we're going to take and size them up. They look to be pretty close. Same width, same curvature. So they should be what I need. And we're going to get started, and we're going to get them both switched out on here. We're going to get the gap set on them, and we will put it back together and see how she runs. We grab a couple tools, we'll get that off of there. I believe that's a 10mm. And, so it's got a bolt on this side and a stud, and the reason why it's a stud like that is because of the shroud. These poke up through the shroud, and the nut comes down on top of that and helps to hold the shroud in along with all your side bolts. So that's why that's there. I was looking for this stuff, and there it is. Got my feeler gauges. You want to install these so that the little spade terminal is facing up. Make sure your mating surface is nice and clean, and we don't get no debris under it. And these came with a little protective heat shield, and that will probably go right there, right where it goes through the sheet metal there. That's the way I would line it up. And we'll just finger tighten this stuff right now. Excuse me. All right. So I want to bring the magnet around, so it's pretty sure it's going to be fine. So yeah, we're good. It is the right leg length, so everything's got the same curvature and everything, so pretty sure we're going to be good to go there. Just hit the mating surface and clean that off. Make sure your spade terminal's facing up. Get in there. There we go. A good little spark plug boot. And again, we'll just snug this one up. Finger tight, that's all. We still got to make adjustments to it. Just a little bit. All right, so remember rate, it should be about 10 thousandths. Yep, about 10 thousandths is what we need. And typically what I do is I will stick an 11 thousandths in there. By the time I get everything adjusted and tightened down, the 10 thousandths will slide through there with a little bit of drag. And that's just what I do. It works great. Never had any issues with spark or anything like that. These don't have to be dead on a certain number, as long as you're within the range that the manufacturer calls for. So Alright, now we can snug this one up. I just kind of take my finger and just kind of push in on it a little bit. And I'll snug one side, then I'll come over and snug the other, and then I'll tighten them both, is what I typically like to do. Because sometimes as you're tightening one down, the rotation of the screw can cause the other side of it to kick out just a little bit. Should be good. Let's see if we can get a wrench on there. Yeah, we're good. All right. Not very energetic today. Me and the guys have had a long week this week at work, and which will lead right into the weekend. So, but hopefully everything starts up fine. Hopefully there won't be too many issues that nobody will have to hang around for. Because I would like to see all those guys go home at a decent hour. So now we've gotten this one taken care of. We can rotate the magnet. Don't rotate it all the way over there yet, just kind of get it close by. And make sure it's pulled back all the way, which I think it is. So we can go ahead and, oh, it pulled in a little bit. So let's make sure everything is pulled back all the way. Come on now. And then we can rotate the magnet around. Let's do it again. Get back there and stay there. One more time. Well, I'm not sure what the deal is there. It doesn't want to go by. And then I can pull that out and I can slide a 10 in there with a little bit of drag. Come on in. There we go. We are good to go there. That's just how I do it. Yep, that pinched on there pretty good. Not sure I'm going to be able to get a 10 on that one. Yeah, I can't get a 10 on that one. I might have to take and, yeah, let me do that. For some reason, I guess the hole is ever so slightly oblong where these bolts go, so that gives you that little bit of adjustment that you need. And I don't know if it's not quite right on one of them, or one of the legs is longer than the other, or what's going on there, but I can't get it to come back far enough. So, and all the little laminates feel like they're all the same length. There's nothing, none of them sticking out further than the other. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what it is. This is a little more rounder than this one. Oh, this one over here is a little more rounder than this one, it looks like. I'm just going to take my chainsaw file and I'm just going to run it in there, pushing that way on my file, and that'll allow me to slide this back a little bit further and get the clearance that I need. So, you guys want to come and watch me do that? Nothing, it's not rocket science or anything like that. It's pretty basic. It's just a little trick that you can do to get what you need. Yeah, well, try it this way. Let me try it like that. That should work fine. Alright. Got it clipped in there, and oops, sorry about that. I like my other stand better. The head on that other stand that I have, I like it a lot better, but it's not as tall as this one. Because the head on this one has just got a little screw that you got to keep tightening up, keep it coming loose. So sometimes the head will just move a little too easy. All right, there we go. Like I say, I'm just going to run a file through there. See if I can't get a little more out of that. Sometimes you gotta do little things like that. I've had stuff like this happen with factory stuff. I've had stuff happen like this with aftermarket stuff. You just do what you gotta do. Just a little tiny bit of filing will give me what I need, and it'll be good to go. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's a little more oval than it was. I think I'll do a little bit more on this side, probably. All right. You can kind of see in there where I filed. It's really smooth and shiny. Let's go out here and see if that has made enough room for us. Let's see if that has made enough room for us. Oops. Found the wrong side. Well, let's try that again. Yeah, let's try that again. So we just got a little extra more clearance on the other side now. Alright, here we go. Let's try that out. All right, let's see what we got. Well, sounds like the neighbor's riding his motory bike. All right, there's one side. All right, I think that will work, fellers. And ladies, any kids who are watching, how about we just say everybody? I think this is going to work. Oh yeah, that felt like it was going to be pretty nice. So that was my 11. Slides through there nicely. Yep. 10. That should be good. So that's all that took, guys. We didn't need to send it back. We didn't need to make the customer wait any longer than he had to. We just took a file, slotted that hole just a tiny bit more, and guess what? As long as this thing works like it's supposed to, he'll be back up and running and have his mower back to cut grass this weekend. I believe his spark plugs are in very good condition. We just need to clean them up a little bit. And we can easily do that with a wire brush. Looky here, I do have some of the some different, I believe this is the Sten's Megafire, but it's still the RJ12YC. 2 brand new ones ready to go. I'll go ahead and put those in for him. And should be good to go on that. We'll give this thing a fire up and test run after we get this cover on. I might just fire it over real quick, let it run for 30 seconds or so, just to verify that everything seems to be working right before I go putting all that back together. I've got a jar of Never Sees. I got a couple jars, I do believe. But when I go to the parts store to get spark plugs, they always give you that little packet. Yeah, you never use all of it. Don't throw it away. Keep using it. I've got probably 4 or 5 of those things. We got 2 new ones. We're just going to put a tiny bit of Never Sneeze on there. Just push it in the threads a little bit. Whatever you do, don't get it on the ground strap or the electrode. The ground strap is the hook that comes over top. The electrode's down in the middle there. Remember, you need to snug these up enough to crush the washer. If you don't have them tight enough, a couple things could happen. One is you might not build the compression that you should be building because it will be leaking. And then 2, as the piston comes up and down, it's creating compression against that spark plug. And then when piston goes down, it's actually could pull on that spark plug, right? So it's always pushing and pulling on the spark plug, the head, and things like that. Push and pulling as that that piston goes up and down. So if your spark plug is not tight, it can beat your threads out. Because if it's not tight, now it's pushing and pulling on those threads of that spark plug, and eventually beats them out, and eventually your spark plug will just blow right out. I had to redo the threads on a backpack blower. It was an Echo backpack blower, and my suspicion was either over tightened, and he pulled the threads out, possibly over tightening it, or it wasn't tight enough, and then, you know, with the piston going up and down, pushing and pulling on that, it just beat the threads out of it. So we don't want that to happen here. There we go. The sleeve is now done being crushed, and I'm just going to give it a tiny bit more. And you can feel it. You can feel when that sleeve gets crushed and it starts to get a little bit tighter. Once you feel it start to get a little bit tighter, all of a sudden, you know you've got your sleeve crushed, and you just give it a little tiny bit more. All right, back you up a little bit, and we'll hit the key. Let's see how she at. Now, when you're doing a little test run without your guard and everything on, be careful. You don't want it to throttle it up too high, because these legs here, not sure if you can see them that far back, but these legs here, if you go too high of an RPM, just doing a little test, these legs here will spread right out. And then you have that to fix. And not only that, it will also throw this thing out of balance real quick, and you'll be shutting it down pretty fast. All right, so that cylinder feels warm. That cylinder feels warm. So that tells me that this thing is running properly. Now, if you noticed, I didn't have to sit on it this time or put bricks in the seat. So when that one coil went bad, it must have went bad on the ground side, and which affected the safeties on this thing. Now that I've got the new coil in here, the coil's working properly, the grounding side of the coil's working properly, the safeties work like they're supposed to. That's the first time I've run across that. But I thought there was a safety problem at first, but now that I didn't have to sit on it, I just wanted to try it. If it didn't start without me sitting on it with the brake on, then I was going to have to sit in it. And but it fired up like it's supposed to, because you should be able to set your brake, and you should be able to fire this up, and you should be able to walk all around it. You shouldn't have to sit in it, because sometimes you got to run these things to do your diagnostics, to work on them. So I knew there was a little issue when I had to keep sitting in it when I was diagnosing this problem. So we got the coil on there, and it works fine like it's supposed to now, which tells me that the issue was probably on the grounding side of that coil. So there is one more thing I need to do. Is that guard is smashed all to bits. I think it happened once before on this one. It's when you try to get too close to things or trim around things with your mower on the wrong side. So you should be getting close and doing all your trimming with your mower on this side, not your shoot side. That's it, guys. That was my process on diagnosing this problem for this mower, which ended up being one of the coils. Hopefully this content will help you out one day. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If so, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, send me some comments to let me know what you think. Be kind and help people when you can.